This is America's fastest growing Turo fleet. Starting with just one car 18 months ago, they've been able to grow to a 15-car multi-six-figure fleet, and in the next 45 days, they're set to add 10 more vehicles. As a new Turo host myself who's made many mistakes, I decided to make the trip to Denver, Colorado to get an inside look at this successful operation to learn what everyone else is doing wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I just made it to Denver, Colorado, and this video took an interesting turn. So not only are we going to be taking a look inside a very successful Turo fleet, but Chris, the guy I'm filming with, sent me a text saying he found a car that he thinks would be perfect for me to buy for Turo. I might be buying it since we're taking a look at the car today at 4 p.m. When Chris and his brother Aaron came to pick me up from the airport. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Sick camera.
Yeah, thank you. I'll hop in.
Dude,
cool. Let's do it. I noticed immediately how fast their business was expanding.
Off to the first stop, buying a car.
Dude, right off the bat.
Straight to business. Welcome to our life.
Right away, we drove out to buy a 2016 Subaru Outback for $14,500.
Negotiated him down over FaceTime, got it down to 14, then went out to meet with him and got him down to 13.5 because we had a mobile mechanic come out, and the mobile mechanic found a few things that aren't a big deal at all, but it allowed us to at least negotiate the price down another 500 bucks. So we got it for 13.5.
And on the way to get this new car, we picked up an investor who is funding this purchase.
Nice to meet you, bro.
It's good to meet you.
First Turo car. Have the check right here.
Damn.
For the car.
How much you buying it for?
$13,250.
And what do you think this will rent out for?
Honestly, I'm just shooting for $1,500 a month in profit.
So we have our own cars and we're always trying to buy more cars, but the way that we've been growing our fleet so fast, we're actually pitching investors and getting investors to buy their own cars, and then we put them on the Turo platform and then manage it for them.
Philip is one of their investors who's going to be buying the blue Subaru.
So here's the
they're nice.
But then he should have sent you the $250.
Yeah, $250 already been moved.
Got the keys. I moved to Colorado. I got a dog. Now I got a Subaru. Back seat. Got a little GPS station right there. Is that what it is? Needs a little bit of cleaning.
So how much do you think this car is going to make every month? Like,
so
roughly?
that should revenue around $1,700 to $2,000 a month.
Congrats, bro. I hope it does well on Turo.
I'm hoping so too. If not, you know, I'm just gonna have to live in the street.
Finding cars for Turo, negotiating, hiring mechanics, finding investors, it probably makes Turo seem pretty complicated. And before I could even trust Chris and Aaron's advice to spend $11,400 on a Honda CRV, I decided to ask, so I guess how did you get started with Turo?
Yeah, good question. So I was working a 9-to-5 job. This was at the peak of Corona. It just started. And so I was sitting in my bedroom every day doing sales call, cold calls from my bedroom. And I was like, I need an out. I bought a $40,000 car, which is probably the weirdest out that there's ever been from a 9-to-5 job. Put that thing on Turo, ended up making me about $2,000 a month. And I was like, this is cool. So within a month of buying the first one, I was like, I love this platform. I think this is something that I should really kind of dive into.
Aaron made the decision to hop out of corporate America after just 2 Turo cars, and his brother Chris thought he was an idiot.
That might have been a mistake. Why'd you just quit your job? You were working at a Fortune 500 company and you quit it to rent cars out like online. That's a bit insane.
Until he did the exact same thing.
I was like, dude, send me all your numbers. I want to look at them. You might need to call your boss and beg for your job back. And so he sent it to me, and I was, comparing them to the S&P 500 rental properties. I was like, dude, the return on investment for Turo is actually pretty darn good. I literally, like a week later, bought my first Turo car, and the very next day quit my 9-to-5 job.
Within a year of teaming up together, they have 4 personal cars along with 11 Turo cars they manage for a 30% fee. To get a deeper look at how Chris and Aaron buy cars for Turo, I gave them a budget of $10,000 for my second car, which was exceeded. We're actually gonna go pick up a car for me personally. We're getting a 2013 Honda CRV, 125,000 miles for $11,400.
I think she listed it for about $12,500, which was a pretty good deal already. It was like already below KBB value. So we FaceTimed her and then ended up getting her down to $12,000 before we drove out. Went out to look at the car, had a mechanic look at it, and while we were there, we were able to get it down again. And then we sent her a deposit so that she would hold it for us until Will got into town, and now we're gonna go buy it.
As you guys can see, right up there is the car that I'm gonna be buying. We're gonna take a look at it. Dude, these tires are like brand new.
This is the one thing I was showing you on the FaceTime. And then I like this. It's got the
Dude, it's got a nice little roof rack.
Yep.
Overall, guys, this car looks really nice. We're about to go talk to the seller right now to pay for the car and like pick it up and everything. I think this car is definitely gonna do a lot better than the Fiesta. Like I'm hoping it's a success. All right, you ready?
I feel confident.
All right, we're gonna go meet this person.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. It's been a great car.
Yeah.
My name is Maggie. Don't crash her.
Okay, will do. As you guys can see, I just paid for the car. car. Thank you.
You can keep all this or do whatever you want with it, but it's
Sounds
just
good.
a history of all the service
Perfect.
I've had on it.
This vehicle should rent out for about $45 per day in my Turo market. In a month, this car should generate at least $1,200, and it also has a great reliability rating. To put that to the test, I drove it 5 hours from Denver, Colorado to my brother's house in Lander, Wyoming. Luckily, he happens to be a mechanic. So right off the bat, he's gonna check the, what are you doing? I don't even know car stuff.
Well, I'm gonna check the front suspension, see if there's anything loose, which feels good. Wheel bearings, tie rods, ball joints.
Are you qualified to work on cars?
Yes.
Can you talk about your qualifications so the audience knows?
I'm AC certified and I have 10 years experience.
As he inspected every mere inch of my vehicle, he found some minor issues.
Your outer pad is about 75% worn. I'd say the inner pad is probably closer to 90% worn.
It's gonna need to be done, if you're lucky, 20,000 miles.
As my brother did more of his auto mechanic stuff, he suggested replacing both the front brakes,
A little bit less worn on this side, but we're not only gonna do one side.
the rear brakes,
They're about halfway worn. If you wanna do them, it's gonna be way cheaper if I do them.
and a couple other maintenance items. Oh, bro, am I breathing that in?
You're not breathing that in.
Bro, that stuff's nasty.
I've seen way worse, believe it or not. So this spark plug, you can tell, it's been in there a while.
You think it's original?
Yeah, probably.
Would you recommend maybe just replacing it?
Yeah, if the gap gets too big, they can just put stress on the coils.
Now, truthfully, we probably didn't need to do a lot of those repairs quite yet, but having my brother do everything as a mechanic saves a lot of money since we simply drove to O'Reilly's, bought a bunch of supplies, and my brother got $150 for his time. I literally just got 2 new sets of brakes, new spark plugs, a cabin air filter, and an engine air filter for $510. And now I probably won't have any issues with this car for a long time. While driving my Turo car back to Texas, I decided to stop in Denver once again. I still have a lot more I need to learn about Turo, all the way from how to passively manage a multi-car fleet to how much Chris and Aaron even make from 15 cars. So you guys are big on modifications when it comes to Turo?
Oh yeah, for all of our cars, we normally try and get set up with rooftop tents. Just helps make the car look more attractive.
A lot of times you're having to add extras by actually showing up to the car and like putting a cooler in it or putting a sleeping bag in it. Rooftop tent, you can just have a lockbox in the car and then give the code to the guest that reserves it.
Are you guys getting a rooftop tent right now?
Yeah, we're gonna go put a rooftop tent on the Subaru that we just picked up for Phil. We'll probably be getting this one right here. So this is the iCamper. Right here is a lock. If the guest doesn't reserve it, they don't get to use it. This type of rooftop tent right here, probably all in, is gonna be about $3,500 to $4,000. It can normally bring in an extra $1,000 a month.
Charging $50 a day to use the rooftop tent absolutely prints money in the Denver market. Now, obviously, if you live in a place like Boston, LA, or even where I do in Austin, Texas, this strategy may not work as well. But something else I noticed that day spending time with Chris and Aaron is how scalable their business is.
The idea situation is if we had $1 million to invest in cars, but we don't. So we have to work with other people and make it favorable for them to work with us.
So whatever their car is able to make that month, we take 30%.
By using other people's money instead of their own, they can grow their fleet massively. And for every car they add, both parties are still making good money.
Somebody that has a $20,000 car or more, they're coming away with anywhere from like $700 to even $1,200 a month.
I'm gonna leave a link below to Chris and Aaron's management service if you guys are interested in learning more, and be sure to let them know that I sent you because we're having a bunch of fun in Denver together and they said they'd hook you guys up with a discount. But that brings us to the second obstacle of scaling a business: time. There's only so much time in a day to take photos of cars, drive them to the airport and back, or vacuum them between trips, right?
I started this, like I said, when I was working at a 9-to-5 job, so I just didn't have time to do the drop off and pick up, and a lot of people even meet the customers every single time at the airport. We started hiring runners that would go and drop the car off at the airport and take photos of the car between trips.
Paying runners $35 each way to pick up and drop off cars from the airport, along with using lockboxes for key exchanges, starts to turn Turo from active to passive income. And now all that's left to do is cleaning the cars between trips. Well, he doesn't do that either.
There's a car wash up the street from my place, and I just kind of stumbled upon it. Started asking politely if guests would just bring it through the car wash for me. And I noticed that 9 times out of 10, people are happy to do it because it is a completely free thing for them to use.
So it's $65 a month, and that gets them to do the exterior of the car and the interior of the car. Saves a bunch of time. Also, washing cars, we're not very good at it, so saves us from the headache of doing that ourselves.
Does this car wash care that you guys have so many cars with them?
So really, we're only bringing a car there, 4 to 5 times a month. So it's not like we're like overrunning the car wash, but they do have a limit to the number of cars one person can have on the profile. We're very quickly outgrowing it, so we're trying to find a new car wash to work with or make a deal with the owner.
Having guests return cars already clean was the final step to automating their Turo fleet. To finalize the day, we're at this really cool spot. We've got my Turo car along with a bunch of other cars here, and we're gonna be taking some photos to get them listed.
So first of all, if you have a lens that zooms and you have a good background, you want to be a little bit away from the car and then zoom into it, and that really makes the background kind of pop and expand. So it'll definitely be funny having your car with like a very Denver background, but being in Austin.
So we just finished taking pictures of all of the Turo cars, and including the new additions from this video, how many cars are you guys up to, and how much are they making every year?
We're up to 15 cars now, and annually it's bringing in through the Turo platform about $250,000 a year.
Yeah, and each car makes us about $500 a month for our company personally.
What is the goal by the end of the year? How many cars do you guys want to get up to?
We would love to have at the end of the year around 100 cars in Denver, and then hopefully start thinking about going to different locations like Miami or Orlando.
My Turo car is officially listed with some solid photos, and it's already gotten some bookings like down here for the entire month of October.